Hey, I'm Dave Campbell, Senior Director of Business Development at BounceX.
My name is Kris I'm the Senior Director of Conversion Strategy at BounceX, and today we're going to give you an introduction to behavioral marketing. What me and Dave really focus on doing every day is try and understand how people behave when they're shopping online. It has to do how they behave when they determine that they want to buy something online, how they're behaving when they're searching for that thing to buy, how they behave on site, and then ultimately, what they do if maybe they don't buy that product in one go. Using the BounceX platform, we focus on ways on how to execute on getting the highest revenue per unique visitor. Really, with behavioral marketing, it falls into focusing on three main things. One is identifying each visitor. Two is shaping their experience while they're shopping on a website. And three, determining what to do off-site to get them back to buy if they don't buy in a particular session.
So one way you can think about this is thinking about how you probably shop online. And maybe this story sounds familiar to you. It's something that happens to me all the time and most of the people that I talk to. I'll get a link, usually from Kris, since we sit right next to each other, for a new shop that's doing something exciting. And I go onto the website and I see a lot of products that I'm really interested in. And I can relate to the brand and say it's vertically integrated jeans, which was one that we did recently, where I'm at work, I'm not at the desk that I'm going to ultimately make my purchase at, and more than 60% of traffic isn't when they're on a website for the first time. More than 60% of them are actually going to buy this product on a different device. So I'm browsing the website though, and my intent for the brand and my intent for the product is very high in that moment. And I'm doing things that look like buy signs. I'm looking at products and I'm engaging with the product pages. I'm reading reviews and my peers seem to think it's cool. So I'm like, yeah, I can get behind this product and I would probably buy this. Unfortunately, I'm at work. This isn't where I'm going to pull out my credit card and actually complete that transaction. So if I leave the website at the end of that session, the odds of me coming back are incredibly slim. And that's kind of the world without behavioral marketing. So what we look at is the conversion funnel. So you can think of a website as a funnel. And at the top of the funnel, where the mouth is widest, are all the people that ever touch the website. And at the bottom are the select few, usually around 2.5%, that will make it all the way to the checkout process. They add the items to cart. They find the product they want, they add the items to cart, they proceed with checkout, and they purchase. That's a pretty average in this industry conversion rate, meaning the rate at which a user buys, 2.5%. And if you think about that, 97.5% failure rate, there's a lot of opportunity there. And the methods that Kris just described are how we activate value for those users with behavioral marketing. So if you think of the marketing technology landscape for executing on this funnel that we talked about, there are a lot of solutions that will drive a lot of impact at the bottom of the funnel. There's technologies like an A/B testing platform, transactional triggered email platform, and other types of tools, maybe something they've done in-house. Personalization and retargeting, which is designed to do exactly that, bring users back who've been to the website and done a certain sequence of actions. But if we go step by step through each of those, there's a limit to the value that they can drive. The most profound impact for A/B testing, for instance, is felt at the very bottom of the funnel on pages like the checkout, the cart page, the product page. It's generally not felt on the audience that's higher up in the funnel, the people like me who are browsing the website with intent, looking at jeans I like, but not ready to buy in this session. Retargeting is a technology that's designed to bring users back with display advertising based on what they've done on the website, but unfortunately only 1 in 1,600 people on average will click on one of those ads. And we've all seen those. If you looked at the jeans, now the jeans are on your Facebook and they're on Elle or Esquire, wherever it is that you're reading. And personalization is something that works on product pages. But without having user level identification with something like an email address, there's only so much that you can do. And most of the users that an e-commerce website will have user level identification for are people who've already bought from them. The people who are at the very bottom of the funnel, they have the email address because they're logged in, and they're logged in because they bought. So there are existing solutions for all of those users, and there's profound impact to be had, but it's all at the bottom of the funnel. Behavioral marketing is all about those anonymous visitors, the unknowns, the people like me, shopping and enjoying my experience, but with no method to identify me, there's no method to bring me back, and no method to market to me in such a way that I purchase items at a high rate.
As Dave kind of touched on, there's two sides of the coin to identifying the visitor. It's identifying where they are in that funnel he described, but then also who they are so we can market to them on a one-to-one basis. Consider, to Dave's point, how a majority of visitors that are being targeted by these A/B testing platforms, personalization tools, all the marketing tools you have out there, are at the bottom of the funnel, the highest intent traffic. We want to focus on medium and low intent traffic, particularly medium intent traffic, because those are the visitors who are showing buying signs but haven't necessarily taken that next step. The way you identify them kind of translates into the next aspect of on-site behavior and what are they doing. And that may be what are they doing on a particular page, but also how did they get there. Certain traffic sources like email or PLA traffic, they may be higher intent. They have a lot of buying interest because they either are coming back from some sort of transactional email or they search for a specific product. Now they're trying to determine where to buy it online. Those visitors are very likely to buy, and now they're determining where are they going to buy this product. Once you determine that, then you also look at signs on site. So you want to see what are those behaviors that high intent traffic takes. So that means before someone buys, what are things they do on, say, a product page? So Dave's looking at those jeans that I sent him. He's probably going to want to see what the product details are, if there's any kind of reviews, because social proof is huge. He wants to see what did other people think who bought these jeans. Were there any, big reviews on any major publications? Like, did Esquire write about these? Did GQ write about these jeans? What are all the different angles? How would these look if he was wearing them? Maybe they're different colors. All these things you can interact with are signs that you're very likely to buy these. Now, when someone's exhibited those behaviors, we can determine, okay, this is where they are in the funnel. Next point, then you want to try and determine how to identify them. And now the best way to actually identify a visitor who is on a site on a one-to-one basis has become by capturing their email address. Email addresses have become the universal identifier because you use your email for everything. You use it to log into Facebook, you use it to log into Gmail, you use it to get transactional emails, you use it to check out. Email has worked its way into our everyday life. You get it on your phone now, and a majority of emails are checked on visitors' phones. So using the email, by capturing at a very high rate, you're able to identify someone on a one-to-one basis. So now that they're identified, we move on to the on-site piece. So someone exhibits these behaviors, how should their website experience change? If someone is moving from the medium intent to the high intent bucket, how can you capitalize on that?
And to go back to my earlier point, how an industry average conversion rate is about 2.5%. So about 2.5% of all users on a website are actually buying things. We can contextualize that by thinking about the elephant in the room for every e-commerce brand in America right now, and arguably the world, Amazon. The conversion rate for an Amazon Prime session is more than 70%, which is, if you're taking an exam, a C compared to an F-, right? So Amazon and other big brands like Amazon who are doing a great job, companies like Overstock and Wayfair, they are conditioning behaviors that users take with them everywhere they go. The kinds of things that Kris was talking about, how I'm engaging with the product page when I'm looking at jeans that I might want to buy. So the problem that behavioral marketing, and specifically behavioral automation, which is what we do, automating the marketing in response to these behaviors, what we need to react to are behaviors that users like you and me take to every single website we visit. They're not behaviors that are specific to any one e-commerce website. So you, whoever you are watching this, look and see how many tabs you have open in your browser right now. If it's more than 10, you're like me, and that wasn't the case for anybody 10 years ago. And it's because of companies like Amazon that we do this. We're more finicky, we make decisions in milliseconds rather than minutes, and we're always gonna see if we can get something cheaper and faster. Now, the behaviors that lead us to do those things are very specific. Things like something I do, I'll copy the product name when I'm on a product page and then paste it into Amazon and see if I can get it cheaper and faster, right? I'll comparison shop by reading reviews, reading price, viewing thumbnails, seeing what's in stock, and then I'll just open a new tab and see if I can find it somewhere else. There are thousands of inputs that, if you're listening for them, will tell you that a user is about to do these things. And what behavioral marketing does, and what we do specifically at BounceX, is identify those Amazon trained behaviors. Then we can build and automate responses to them so that when we see them, we know who you are already. We've collected an email address. We know what you're interested in because you showed us that when you were shopping. And now we know that you're at risk for comparison shopping and going to another more competitive brand that can get you a product cheaper and faster. So when we see that combination of features, we'll augment the user experience to provide exactly the right message at the right time to keep the user there. And if we're unable to keep the user there and they should leave, with the email address, we'll provide that same message to their inbox. And the point of behavioral marketing is figuring out which message is going to be the most important one to this user in real time? Is it the fact that you get free shipping if it's $50 and over? Is it the fact that these were manufactured in America and not overseas? Is it the fact that you have risk-free refund returns if you don't like the product that you can do within 14 days of buying? That answer, the answer to that question is something specific to the business. Our job is to solve a behavior that's not specific to the business. When we see users at risk because they're doing something that all of us do when we're comparison shopping, we figure out what is exactly the right message to show to this user at the right time so that we can drive maximum value from that user and convert at the highest rate possible.
By now you should have a good sense of how to optimize your website for visitor behavior and necessarily what that behavior means and what you can do about the insight you get from that behavior in order to drive more revenue for your site. The main focus is, again, identify the visitor, understand who they are, and specifically how you can reach them. Use that information to alter the site experience to make it more relevant for those visitors' buying patterns. And then understanding that most visitors take more than one session to convert, be able to message them off-site through either behavioral emails or through people-based marketing channels to ultimately get them back to the site and complete their purchase.
To wrap it up from a business perspective, in an industry where the average conversion rate is 2.5%, and brands like Amazon have more than half the market share because they convert at over 70%, behavioral marketing is the solution that helps clients close the gap.